This episode is dedicated to those who graduated high school or college this year. Congrats on graduating, and may you continue to do greatness in the world. Wow. It's actually quiet over in Germany. That hasn't happened since 1933. Oh, wait, I know why. We won! Yeah! America! Truck, yeah! Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of our Congress series. Today we're talking about the 79th Congress that was in session from 1945 to 1947. So, a couple things before we kick off today's episode. One, we're in color again. Woo! We haven't been in color since last Wednesday, oddly enough. So yeah. 2, there's no parental warning in this video, which, yay. And 3, we're still saluting to all graduates, because again, it's still graduation season. Meaning you'll only see the graduation thing for today and tomorrow. So on the 3rd, next Monday, you won't see it. So yeah. So yeah, how many sessions were there in this Congress? I almost said episodes. We're actually 79 right now. Yeah, I know. We're almost done. We're not even 3/4 of the way there yet. But that'll come soon. So yeah, 2 sessions. In the House, we have 435 members. The Speaker is Sam Rayburn, who is a Democrat. And we have 240 Democrats, 188 Republicans, 1 Progressive, 1 American Laborer, and 5 vacancies. Again, AL, it's not Alabama. Why do I keep saying the same joke over and over and over? Anyways. Over in the Senate, we have 96 members. Again, divide that in 2. Tells you how many states we have. We have 48, not 50. By the way, that is the Ohio flag. We will talk about that in a future video. I promise you. I know I said it in a previous episode, like way back in, I want to say February, but I will talk about it. Just hold your horses a little bit. President of the Senate, we actually have 2, and one of them will be very important in a little bit. Because you all know who you know who it is. So anyways, the presidents, they're both Democrats, so yeah, don't worry. The president of the Senate is Henry Wallace, who is a Democrat, and you know who it is, Harry Truman. Yeah. He'll be important in a little bit, actually, as well as tomorrow's episode. Stay tuned. The president pro tempore is Kenneth McKellar, spelled McKellar, who is a Democrat. And we have 54 Democrats, 41 Republicans, and 1 Progressive. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The Reich surrenders to the Allied forces of the United Kingdom, big ol' America, France, and big ol' Soviet Russia on the 8th of May, 1945. That's right. So, yeah, that was actually 3 weeks ago, actually. Yeah. and the war ends in Europe. You're probably thinking, well, wait, what about the Italians? Didn't we have to fight Mussolini? Well, yes and no. That situation's kind of a little complicated. I mean, yes, we did have to fight the Italians, but again, the Italians will forever be a meme joke, history joke, forever. I mean, literally. Basically, the Italians, Italy was kind of split into two, because we came up through Sicily and up through the boot, and Mussolini had control of the north, which is actually a puppet government of the Nazis, so that way Hitler can keep Mussolini in power. But eventually, Mussolini was deposed. He was assassinated, and he was hung at a gas station, I think in Rome, but I'm not quite sure on that. But yeah, he was hung at a gas station in Italy with his body on display. And yeah, the great Mussolini, who through blood and iron became the prime minister and later duce of Italy, did great at start. Kind of, kept things a little quiet here and there. And then, yeah, the war kind of ruined him. Same thing with Hitler, but we'll get to that later. Actually, no, we'll talk about it right now. Because, as you all know, the 30th of April, 1945, Hitler kills himself. Because, okay, Russians are here. They're destroying Berlin. Bam. Yeah, he kills himself with his own gun. I don't know through his mouth or through the side of his head, but yeah, he committed suicide. So yeah, the war in Europe is over. Woo! May 8th, 1945. 3 weeks ago today, actually. However, Japan started to escalate their tactics to, try to survive. And as you all know, kamikazes, which was a Japanese tactic at the time. Where they dive their plane into a ship that takes out them and a ship, which doesn't really do them in the long run, because thanks to, the oil embargo we talked about, what was that, Monday? Japan couldn't rebuild lost ships. We could. So, for every one that Japan lost, for every, one Japan lost, they weren't able to rebuild on it. But for every one that we lost, we got 4 or 5. So we were able to rebuild with every lost ship. Japan couldn't. But we'll talk about that later in a future World War II video, which I will fully in-depth go about everything as much as possible. The US dropped 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki to avoid a full land invasion of Japan, which was actually codenamed Operation Downfall. That was the main plan. But however, President Truman saw that, it wasn't going to actually work, because, you have to sacrifice a lot of men for a possible land invasion, and that would drag the war on way too long than what it should have. So he thought, you know what, just to avoid a land invasion and to drag on the war, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, bam! And that pretty much was the end of that. The atomic bombs was Plan B, for what I've heard, and according to my research as well. That was the only time so far in history that nuclear weapons was used in actual warfare. So just keep that in mind, guys. The war was over on the 2nd of September, 1945. Afterwards, the United Nations was created to prevent another world war. And the UN is still in session today. there are currently 193 members of the United Nations. And everything about the UN that I just told you is correct as of the week of May 26th of 2019. The UN was actually a more advanced and honestly a better version of the League of Nations. Because, well, the League of Nations started out pretty good, but it didn't really get too far because of one key player. America didn't join. So, well, the House wanted to, be in the League of Nations, but the Senate said, no, we want to stay out of Europe's affairs from now on. Until 1941. Oh, man. Until December 11th, 1941, Hitler was like, 9! You will get involved with the war! Yeah. Also, President FDR dies in office. And his vice president, Harry Truman, becomes the 33rd president. It's also interesting to think that between 1933 and 1945, history had two very powerful leaders, one good, one bad. You know who we're talking about. FDR and Hitler. I mean, Hitler started out good, kind of, rebuilding Germany to its former glory, kind of, but war kind of ruined everything. There were so many assassination attempts on Hitler that we'll save for a World War II video, which will be pretty long again. So, yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. This video was long enough. I'm sorry I kind of rambled throughout this video. But it's good to learn, Learn, damn it. Alright, we'll see you all tomorrow for the 80th Congress and our final one of the week. And our last one of May. See you then.